you're talking about the fact, you know, he almost represents the Spurs fans in many ways. That's what Spurs fans want to. They want that trophy. And Heung-min Son is one of the best. You know, I see a lot of European football. He's one of the best forwards in the world and has been for the last 3 or 4 years. He deserves to win medals at this football club.
Can I be incredibly self-indulgent and just steer the conversation where I want it to go for a second?
Of course.
Tanguy Ndombele, like, I mean, what a player, what a phenomenal player. Another one I'm so excited to watch this season.
And we're now going to see what he can do in training. I mean, because we see what he can do in a match scenario. I mean, the shackles are off a little bit less in training, so I'm sure he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, a few moves that we could only dream of.
I said just before we came on air that I was feeling a little bit warm. Maybe I wore too many layers. Tunguy's wearing a beanie.
He loves his hats, doesn't he? Let's be honest. He loves his hats.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's a one-off Tanguy.
So let's just talk a little bit about what we've seen so far, because Nuno said fairly early on to us that it was all about building up fitness and that we shouldn't read too much into things. But we have started to see a few little patterns emerging, haven't we, Rob? We saw particularly with that 4-3-3 and particularly with the positions that Lucas Moura has been dropping into as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that Lucas Moura's main attribute is picking up the ball wide and drifting in field. And that's when it just breaks up a team. That it sort of fragments the opposition in a really interesting way. He was doing it to devastating effect against MK. They didn't know what was happening when he cut inside. He was creating chances, dribbling past players. He's got that strength. For Lucas Moura this season, he has never been a nailed-on starter at this football club, I think, in the strongest 11. He's had spells, certainly under Mourinho, where he really liked him. I want to see Lucas Moura try and command that right-wing spot because I think it's up for grabs this season.
And let me just chuck in there, Marcy, as well. If you go back and look at Lucas Moura's record, considering that he's not someone that's always in the limelight, he seems to play all the time.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, he won't start, as Rob said, he won't start every game. But you have a look how many times he's involved in games. I think it was another 50 last year.
It's incredible.
He's racked up the appearances since he joined us, and it's just that explosive. I mean, you had to be there to see that explosive pace over the halfway line where he just nicks it into a gap. And he leaves 2 or 3 players just standing, and you went thinking, wow, it's only a pre-season friendly, granted, but that explosive pace to open everything up.
And passing it to himself. Literally passing it.
How do you see that? How do you see that in the traffic? How do you see that?
This is where I hope he's got a bit of an advantage going into the season. You know, him and a couple of the guys, like Stevie Bergwijn, did not go away on international duty during the summer. Lucas Moura looks already Premier League fit. I mean, he keeps himself in great shape. He loves the football club. He loves football. So I'm excited to see if he can bring that to opening Premier League weekend.
Let's touch on Stevie Bergwijn. You mentioned him there. It's a big season for Steve,
massive,
isn't it?
Massive,
and he's got off to a really good start in pre-season. Just in terms of the work rate that we see him putting in, it's incredible, isn't it?
He was great, wasn't he? At Colchester when he was tearing down that left-hand side, and at MK again, he was the one they didn't know how to deal with it. Look, we've said that the same about Lucas. That front four, when they're together, when they click, that's special. That's a special four. They got angles, they're coming in. The things they can do. Teams won't be able to deal with that. Stevie's been so strong down his left-hand side. And I think the frustration with Stevie is we've seen it in bursts what he can do, haven't we? The goal against United, the goal against Villa.
Yeah,
the goal against Villa.
Yeah.
I mean, what a strike that was. He just wants to be more consistent. He knows it.
I think the thing that stands out for me with the goal against United and the goal against Villa, that was so instinctive. Yeah. And it just makes you think, God, I'm just desperate to see him in positions where he can be instinctive and can be aggressive.
Yeah, if you think back to the first half of last season, he was in the starting 11 all the time under Mourinho. I think Mourinho liked his work rate off the ball. And then the predominant attacking play, really, the creative work was done by Sonny and Kane. So we'll see if Bergwijn can bring that into his game a bit more. In the Netherlands, that's the player he was. He was explosive, shooting from 25 yards. Maybe just lacked a little bit of confidence in front of goal. We saw him being unbelievably unselfish for Sonny against Colchester. He tried his little dink finish against MK Dons. I just feel
that killed me. They were all having a go. I couldn't believe I was watching.
I think he just a couple of goals and he'll be flying. We know how dangerous he is, and he made the provisional Euro squad for the Dutch. Didn't make the final cut. That'll be burning a little fire in his belly, I think.
Definitely, that hurt him, by the way. Yeah.
And you mentioned there, Malsey, about the front four. Nuno just gave us a little insight, didn't he, at the end? Didn't reveal too much. But he got a lot of joy from seeing the way that they were moving in and out of position,
and the
seeing people
pace.
drop into the pocket as well.
Yeah, that's what he was pleased with, wasn't it? And they were the words, movement, pace. And he even said to us about the patterns of play. He's been pleased with that. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite striking, hasn't it? Like the chances we've created. You know, we've one thing he did mention is we haven't probably scored enough goals for the chances we've created. That's something he's looking at, because I remember he said post-match, didn't he? We need to score these goals.
Yeah. I thought it was a really interesting point, actually. And you spent a bit more time with Nuno now. Just tell us how he's settled in, and just a little bit about him as a man as well.
He is the one thing that everyone's got the impression of straight away is how important bringing everyone together is for him. He wants a family feel. Now, I believe that's in this squad anyway, because they've been together for so long.
Yeah.
You get a manager who comes in who wants to bring that everyone's important, everyone's a family, an arm around you. He wants to get to know every player. He wants to know everything that every player is doing every day, get to know his players. That's the overriding feeling I'm getting. And around the place is great. Always a smile on his face. Always looking after that beard of his.
Yeah, immaculate.
Yeah, but no, he's been great.
People are going to think that I'm just saying this, but it genuinely has felt like such a positive vibe around the place, hasn't it, Rob? Have you felt that in the pre-season games you've been at?
Absolutely. And I think as well what's helped is bringing in those youth players into pre-season. Look, we see this normally anyway. But I really feel that they feel part of the group, and they've been really impressive performances in there as well from the likes of Niall John, Dane Scarlett, Alfie Whiteman. You know, Alfie's a proper Spurs boy. You know, I think he was born in Tottenham, I think, and you know, he massive fan of the football club. It really means a lot to them, and I think it surely impresses upon the other players, but potential new arrivals and the new arrivals already here, just how important this football club is.
We are going to come on a little bit later on in the show to talk about the youngsters, but I do just want to have a little word now on Ollie Skipp, because we've seen a couple of glimpses already of just some outrageous passes from him, but also that stability that you talked about him having off the back of having spent the season in the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, so last season, if people don't know, last season he played in 45 of Norwich's 46 games as they won the title, anchoring that midfield. In the 45th game, right at the end, he broke his metatarsal. So he's had to come back from 11, 12 weeks out. We saw him come back at Colchester, 45 minutes, and he looked straight back into it. And then at MK Dons, up another level. I think he played 77 minutes there. What we're seeing from Skippy is we've always believed that he's got everything. As a holding midfielder, he'll get his foot in. He wants the ball all the time. And if people watch him, even in training today, you watch when he's always putting his arm down like this to point where he wants the ball.
I haven't noticed that before.
Always like that.
Is he?
Like that all the time. Always where he wants the ball. For a young lad, he's 20 still. The experience he's been through for the last 18 months, where he's broken through here, then he's gone to Norwich. Don't forget, he had to live on his own in Norwich in COVID. So he's literally got no family around him. He's got
still performing at that level as well.
He can't say, I'm a bit lonely tonight, lads, can you come round? He's in Norwich, it's COVID. So he's been on his own, and he's had to deal with all that, and he's come through it brilliantly. And now he's had to deal with his first injury, really. I spoke to him after Colchester, and he said, that 11 weeks, they were the longest 11 weeks of my life. That is how much he loves football.
Yeah, and we've seen as well, he's just come in and brought a very nice calm to midfield, but also he covers so much ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good at turning the ball over. I think we all knew that he had that give and go and keep things ticking passing ability. I have been pleasantly surprised by the range, the long-range passing. We had that sort of cut half-volley ping thing. He did crossfield against Colchester United. That lovely diagonal we played against MK Dons around the back. That's really exciting to me, because I think you want that duality from him. You don't want opposition teams to know he's just a guy who gives and goes, and get man tight to him. He'll whip the ball in behind, and I think that's exciting. Look, whoever plays alongside, I'm sure Højbjerg will start the first game. You know, he was outstanding for much of last season. He was in the Euro team of the season, but I think that spot next to him's up for grabs, and I think Oliver Skipp's in the best place to get it.
You two have both got me incredibly excited to watch some training now. So look, I think we'll get off so you guys can enjoy the training. We'll be back in again in a few minutes' time, and we'll be watching like hawks to see if there's anything that happens that you should be keeping an eye on at home, but we'll be back in a few minutes. the most popular man inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ledley, have you stopped taking selfies with people since you've got here?
No, it's been great. You know, it's so great to have the fans back in, and of course I've been outside the stadium, and there's so many people flying around, and you know, it's nice to be able to sign some things and have some pictures taken because it's been a while.
And did I see you giving a coaching session as well out there? Were you
Not
helping out a little
no,
bit?
I was helping out. Yeah, I was helping out a little bit, but you know, it was all fun, and everyone seemed to be really enjoying it, which is great.
Yeah, Milesy, I know you'll be the same as me. Obviously, love Ledley anyway as Spurs fans, but seeing the way that everyone just can't wait to see him, it's so nice, isn't it?
It's brilliant, and I appreciate where Les is coming from on there, because I mean, Les, we've done 18 months. You've been heavily involved in it. 18 months without anyone in the stadium.
Yeah.
Every time you couldn't get used to that, could you? At this empty stadium.
Not at all. You know, every game that we was here for last season, it just felt strange to be walking into an empty stadium and walking out of the tunnel into an empty stadium. So you know, it feels great to have some fans here today just for a training session. And you know, as we say, can't wait for the season to get started and have everyone back in here really.
And Ledley, you got to spend a lot of time obviously with the first team last year, got some amazing coaching experience, and you've got an even better insight than all of us that watch the team every week because you've seen them in training. So just give us a little heads up as to who we should be excited about watching today that you got to see train last year.
I think that it's always nice to see the young players. It's always really important for fans to see the next generation of players coming through. But I think Oliver Skip as well is someone who has been away from the club, performed really well in the Championship last season, and everyone's excited to see him now this season. So I think the young players for sure, you know, Dane, Niall, Skippy, as I say, and but it's also important to watch how the experienced players train as well. You know, the ones who have been here a while and a little bit older, to see, because they set the lead for the young players in training really.
Yeah, what sort of trainer are you, Ledley? Because obviously you had so much to manage in terms of your load on your injuries and stuff. Were you someone that would have absolutely thrived on today? Would you have loved it?
If I had the chance to get out there, then of course, yeah. You know, as you know, I didn't train too often, but yeah, you know, we had a few open training sessions here during my time, and we always loved it. And you know, not that you need any more motivation for training sessions, but you know, being here in front of the fans in training is a little bit special.
But I think, Miles, it's also about the connection, isn't it? It's like you say, Ledley, the fact that fans are getting to just get a little bit more hyped up towards the start of the season, reconnect with the team having been away for so long, because there's a lot of fans on the concourse that we just spoke to that they haven't been here for nearly 2 years.
Not been here for... I've just spoke to a fellow who's just over there in front of us, who's been a fan for over 50 years, but his 50-year anniversary of being a Spurs fan landed in lockdown. So he wasn't able to do, you know, he's been doing it for 50 years, but on that 50th anniversary, he's not here. And that is just one story of thousands, isn't it, of fans where perhaps you don't realise how much football, Spurs, means to people till it's taken away. That's always the cliche, isn't it? But it's true, you know. And I've just said to it with Leds, I mean, we were lucky enough to be here. You were lucky enough to be here for those games. But if we sat over there in the press box when the games are going on, that was like every noise echoed around the stadium.
Yeah, so true.
We score a goal, like Sonny's goal. There were a few fans here for the Arsenal game. But can you imagine Sonny's goal against Arsenal?
Well, literally, that was the one I was going to say.
In a full house.
I mean, Ledley, you must have been stood in a direct line behind Sonny's strike.
Yeah.
That deserved 62,000 people here for that, didn't it?
Oh, for sure. You know, and yeah, you're right. I was, you know, on the bench directly behind it. Could see it was in straight away. But yeah, there was a few goals last season that, you know, really deserved the applause and the celebrations of the fans, which was disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about Arsenal games, obviously we've got the Arsenal game coming up in the Mind series. You can still get hold of tickets for that. TottenhamHotspur.com, and loads of money going to a really great cause as well. So make sure that you check that out. We've got a game coming up against Arsenal here, which will be the first opportunity for the fans to see the team and the first opportunity for the fans to see what Nuno's going to do with this team. Ledley, just give us your sort of take so far on what you've seen under Nuno. What have you enjoyed so far?
Well, I think the difficult part is, you know, especially coming off the back of a tournament, is that, you know, you don't have a chance to get all your players together at the same time. So you're getting players staggered coming back in, which is difficult, especially for a new manager coming into a football club. But it's a great opportunity for young players to have their chance to show the manager what they can do. And, you know, hopefully a few of them have surprised him and could make their way into the squad, on a match day squad on a future basis. So there's always a plus to the fact that we haven't been able to have our full strength team here.
It was definitely noticeable at Leyton Orient, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's a few players who just got a little bit of game time, and you started to see like they look very, very confident. Niall John being one of them, for example. Dane Scarlett, another one.
Yeah, well, you know, as we said, you know, Niall has been very impressive. You know, it's also nice to see Alfie Whiteman
he's done ever so well.
I mean, he's been at the club a long while, and you know, he's had to wait and be patient. And you know, I can say that he's always been a great trainer, and it's not easy in his position when you're not playing many games, but he's always there on hand to help the players who want to do extra finishing or take some penalties or free kicks. He's always there to do that with them, and it's good to see him get his minutes on the pitch.
That's a really interesting insight, Miles, isn't it? The idea that behind the scenes that we've still got that great atmosphere of players that want to go the extra mile, and you can see it with some of the players today that haven't maybe featured massively in pre-season, but they're putting the hours in.
Well, this is the thing. This is what takes, I believe, and I'm sure Les will agree, this is what takes a squad from one place to another. If you've got players who don't... Fans only see the 18 on the day, really. 11 starters, 7 on the bench. Behind the scenes, as Les just mentioned with Alfie, it's those players who are helping the rest of the squad by doing that extra graft that no one sees. Those are the things that lift you up, aren't they, to another level.
And another one is Joe. You know, Joe's been there, done it all, won everything.
Ultimate pro, isn't he, right?
And again, didn't get much game time last season, but his focus is you know, razor sharp in training every day. Another one who wants to do extras with the players who want to do extras, and that's so important to a squad. You know, he wants to help his teammates. You know, even if he's not playing as many games as he would like himself. And that kind of spreads throughout the team and makes a great team spirit.
Is that something that you sort of saw firsthand last year? Could you sort of sense that was starting to happen with different players? Maybe some of the youngsters getting to see an example like Joe Hart, who's pretty much won the lot in terms of domestic competitions, and he's prepared to put in the graft. Yeah,
well, it's important to have, you know, the senior players that they're putting the work, and for young players to come through and see that, to see what it really takes to get to the top. You don't just come into the first team and then, you know, rest on your laurels. You know, you keep improving. And they would have seen the likes of, you know, Harry and Pierre and Sonny, as I say, Joe, players that continue working, you know. And it was difficult last season because there were so many games, but every opportunity they get, they want to kind of tighten up and improve their craft. And, you know, young players seeing that coming in, stands them in good stead for the future.
And another player you mentioned to me before, Ledley, was Dele Alli. Now, we spoke about him, Mousy, at the Leyton Orient game, and Ledley said that Dele was going to be so hungry because it would have hurt him not being involved in that squad. We've seen over the last 2 games, he looks very hungry, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've spoken about the work he's done in pre-season. Before he came back to the club, he looks absolutely cut, doesn't he?
He does,
he's in great nick. And we know he's got all the natural ability in the world, and the stage is his now, isn't it? At the moment, the stage is his. He can go out there in these pre-season games and say to Nuno, right, fresh start, I want to be part of this team. He's some talent, isn't he, Ned? Yeah.
You know, there's no doubt in Dele's talent, of course, and you know, for him, it's a fresh start, as you say. You know, a new manager coming in. You know, everyone's in the same position. They've got to impress. And, you know, Dele's definitely done that. He's got himself in tip-top shape over the off-season. And, you know, we're starting to see the rewards of that already in pre-season.
Yeah, I have to say, he enjoyed that you picked up on that, didn't he? He really enjoyed that.
I think he knows and admits he's not in the place he wants to be at the end of last season. Yeah. And I think that's half the battle, lads, isn't it? If you are willing to admit that, it's difficult as a professional footballer, a club like Spurs, to say, look, things haven't gone as well as I wanted them to. The fact that I think that shows great maturity.
Yeah, of course. And especially when everything's kind of happened so fast for him. You know, he's just been on an upward spiral from the minute he joined the club. And, you know, now he's had to go through a difficult time. I've got no doubt that he'll make him a stronger and better all-round player.
Lily, can you just give us a little insight into what it's like when you have this kind of change in coach or a change in management? For players that are coming in and this is the first time they're experiencing a change in manager, what's it like as a player? Is it exciting because you feel like, OK, I've got a massive opportunity here? Or is there like some nerves there as well?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of everything. You know, even the players that are used to starting most games, when a new manager comes in, you know, their antenna has come up as well. You know, they have to perform. They want to show the manager that they're top players, and I think that's always a good thing. So, you know, obviously Nuno coming in, you know, everyone will be on red alert to perform and show him what they can do, and that bodes well for the future for the club.
Okay, Lily, just before we go, I've got to ask you. So we were just talking about with Rob, our club commentator, when we got out here, we got such envy that we weren't playing on this pitch.
Yeah.
Do you get that a little bit still as well?
Of course, you know, I was here the other day and the stadium was empty, and I was up there and I was just looking around at the stadium and the pitch, and there was a part of me, of course, that would love to be doing it still, but then, you know, I remembered quickly that my knees not feeling great, and I'm getting a little old.
Stop dreaming, lads. Stop dreaming.
No, thank you. No more pre-seasons for me.
You know, no, obviously, I've had my time. I've been there, done it, and you know, for these lads here, it's great to play in an arena like this.
Well, Ledley, as always, we've loved having you. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to keeping like 15,000 fans happy, like you've been doing so far.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
We'll let you get back to enjoying the training. We'll be back again very shortly with some more guests, but enjoy the guys out there on the pitch now. Okay, so you may be able to hear behind us that the music has very much died down. The fans you can still hear, obviously, because they're making a really good noise, but Nuno's actually asked for the music to be turned off so we can hear the players communicate. And now just give people a steer at home what's going on behind us, guys. Looks as though we've gone into like fairly small-sided, and it's the first glimpse for the fans to get a look at the players in action.
Yeah, this is, we're seeing lots of possession here. And interestingly, we heard Nuno at one point trying to redirect the drill to something else. He really wants to see the switching of play from left to right as quickly as possible. My memories of his Wolves side, where they were one of the most organised defensively and offensively teams the Spurs have played. Patterns of play, particularly, the game where Spurs shouldn't have won, but they did at Molineux when Jan scored.
Traore.
Where Adama Traore was
relentless, wasn't it?
Relentless.
There were
that
some
day.
really great quotes from Jan Vertonghen after that, wasn't there? That I think we're in the All or Nothing doc.
That's right.
Where he sort of said...
He was basically saying, like, I got destroyed that day, but everyone remembers I scored the winner. But Wolves were outstanding that day. You know, their patterns of play were just so intuitive, so slick. And, you know, I think we hope to see that. There's also some great stuff going on with the keepers. Whenever one of them makes a save, so we got Alfie Whiteman, Joe Hart, and obviously the new boy, Pierluigi Gallini there. And every time they make a great save, they're getting a great reaction as well.
You can see he's got a little half smile, hasn't he, as well? He's got a good character, Gallini, hasn't he?
He certainly has. And the players are reveling this one, and it's great the fans are so close to seeing what goalkeeper training is, and it is tough, I'm telling you. It is tough. As a goalkeeper of about 30 years ago, just throwing yourself to the ground and getting up, throwing yourself to get up.
You've actually played on the pitch as a keeper, not at the new stadium, but at White Hart Lane.
Yeah. Staff game, I think unbeaten if I remember rightly.
Got the number 1 shirt on.
We used to have a staff team, and we beat Arsenal away, I'll tell you.
There you go, one of our own.
I don't remember us losing the game, if I'm being honest with you. But
probably because you were in the net.
Well, it didn't hurt that Gus Poyet was coach and played. So if we needed a goal, we just float a corner and he'd go, bosh, and there we go, we won.
Brilliant. Look, it's interesting that Nuno sort of picked out this drill to kind of like slow the sound down and make sure everyone can hear each other, because it's for the first time in a long time we're going to have maybe 60,000 plus in the stadium for Spurs v Man City, and all of those little noises that you could pick up and hear, the pin drop almost that was here during COVID,
it was actually
all disappeared.
Yeah, weirdly, when the fans weren't here, it was one of the only sort of things that was like an interesting thing that was happening. You could literally hear the instructions of the way players were talking to each other, even when they were coming off the pitch. It was fascinating. But he clearly wants this group. I mean, many of them know each other anyway, but he wants them to integrate. There's a lot of the youth guys out there. Niall John's touch looks really good. Dele has looked really sharp, I think, in this drill. And we've seen some of that play that we expect from Oliver Skipp, give and go. He's very good at holding off players as well. He's at that low centre of gravity. They all look really sharp.
Yeah, it was strange, Milesy, wasn't it? Because there is no part of me that enjoyed football behind closed doors. Like, we missed the fans terribly.
Your heart sunk every time you walked into the stadium, didn't it?
Do you know, even worse, when a goal would go in and you'd celebrate, and there was about, 10 of us up there celebrating goals. It was me and Milesy, and that's pretty much it in the stand. But there was, as Rob was saying, there was something really interesting in listening to our squad, who's vocal, who makes noise, and how organised
Joe Hart, I mean.
Yeah, Joe Hart and Hugo
playing
as
well.
well.
Playing Hugo, yeah.
Non-stop talk, isn't it? I mean, especially from the goalkeepers. And you're taught that when you're, obviously that's one of the first things you're taught as a young goalkeeper, is you've got to be non-stop. When you come off as a goalkeeper, whatever else you've done in the game, you're croaky, because you are talking, shouting, screaming, organising. And that was interesting to hear that, because a lot of people used to say, yeah, but Hugo, we don't really hear it. But I tell you what, we heard it when there was no one in it.
That was what I was going to say. I mean, for me, very naively, I just sort of assumed, because Hugo's quite a softly spoken guy in real life, that on the pitch he wasn't hugely noisy. No. He's the most vocal player out there.
Yeah, all of these players though turn, they're all good guys, but once they're over that white line, they turn into animals, don't they? Different animals, fierce competitors. You can see it in their eyes, can't you, when they're out there? Yeah, really fascinating. That part of it was fascinating.
So one goalkeeper to another. Let's go back to our new signing, Pierluigi Gallini. He's over there.
Oh my word! Just as we've gone over there, he's done a worldie.
He's having an absolute blast over there, isn't he? We really the fans appreciating him, and I think we spoke about this the other night. MK Dons. He's not come to sit and bench warm, has he? He wants to challenge Hugo. He's got a tough task on his hands, but he does want to challenge Hugo.
He appreciates the standing of Hugo at this club. That was absolutely plain from the first interview he did with us. Hugo's he's been here for a long time. He's France captain. He's World Cup winner. I mean, that is the hurdle in front of any goalkeeper coming into this club. But yeah, I mean, he's not played at Atalanta for 3 seasons, come third 3 times. Just to come here and watch everything. He'll be competitive. He'll want to play as many games as possible. Of course he will.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest challenge that Hugo's actually had to his #1 position since he had to fight for it himself when he arrived from Lyon, because it was Brad Friedel.
And Brad Friedel had the record, I think, didn't he, for most consistent
and
Premier
Brad
League
still
appearances.
played until October that season.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest challenge. It feels like the most sincere challenge, whereby there's a couple of schools of thought in terms of having a second goalkeeper. Do you have an undisputed #1 who knows he is? I heard Peter Schmeichel talking about this the other day. And other ex-goalkeepers say, no, you want that other guy to push you on, to push you to the next level. he's an Italy international now. He's been playing in the Champions League. You know, he's going to be fighting for the shirt. Why would he give that up unless he felt he's going to get minutes in the Tottenham first team?
Yeah, I'm loving hearing just little bits of fan reaction as players are kind of breaking off and doing little bits.
That was Nuno just going over the far side, yeah.
Fans picking up straight
brilliant,
away.
Brilliant.
He's been very popular from the outset, hasn't he? We've seen at some of the games that, I mean, there's slightly smaller stadiums that we've gone to visit in Colchester and Leyton Orient, so it's just a little bit more intimate. But there's been a really positive reaction, hasn't there?
Well, the cheers that you've heard just then are Nuno over the far side waving to the fans on the far side. So, yeah, I mean, it seems they've taken to him straight away, which is brilliant.
I loved it the other day, your interview with him, which was the fans' questions one, where the question was to him, who's your coaching hero? And obviously, as a Portuguese guy, I mean, the Portuguese coaching has dominated European football largely for the past 10 years. He pointed back to his own coaching staff and how much he refers to them.
Yeah, Ian, Rui and Antonio are the guys who he's brought with him, And that is, you talk about family, that is where it starts for Nuno and his coaching
Ian was
team.
with him at Valencia, wasn't he, even? Yeah.
So we've reached that point, haven't we? Goals have come out behind us. This is because for any sort of level of footballer, like, you know when you're training and suddenly you see the goals come out, this is like, yes. We're at that point now. We can get stuck in.
You can go all back to your under-11s days. Can we have a game now? Can we have a game now?
Please, can we get on, just take some shots? So, we've finally got that moment. I think the goalkeepers have just stopped as well. So goalies have just come in, and it looks as though we're about to go into a bit of game action, so that's going to be really, really exciting. Just quickly, guys, is there anyone, I know we spoke about this a little bit earlier on, is there anyone now that's perhaps a little bit late to the party that we should be keeping an eye on? Because Reguilon comes to mind for me straight away. He wasn't there right at the beginning, working his way back up, a really good run out the other night. But again, these sessions and then the remaining games against Chelsea and Arsenal are really important for him, aren't they?
I think the fascinating one is Matt Doherty, because he played such a big part in that Wolves' progress, didn't he, through the Championship into the Premier League. And now, I say, again, he's another player who admits last season didn't go as he hoped it would go, but he's absolute steely determination to get into this side again. Nuno knows him as well as anyone, so how is that going to play out now? That is fascinating for me.
Yeah, and what about for you, Rob?
Tongi here, to be honest. I mean, we haven't seen him yet in pre-season, but he was producing some of his flicks and tricks and that. And look, in terms of like who's your favourite player to watch in training, when teammates are asked, Moussa Dembele used to be the reference point. Oh, Moussa Dembele should see what he was doing in training. It was crazy. Tongi really is the guy who gets mentioned in a similar way. Look, he's been here 2 seasons now. Massive season for him again. He's settled alongside Højbjerg in central midfield for much of the campaign. Didn't get much game time under Ryan Mason at the back end of the season. I want to see him impose himself. 3rd season in the Premier League. It's Tongi time, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is for me. I'm going to get right on my player cam and just watch him for the next few minutes. So we're going to leave you guys now so you can actually enjoy the game taking place, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly. just tell me a little bit about how it feels to come back, because I know you're here a lot and you're doing amazing work with the club, but when I see you on the concourse and when I see you going through the stands, fans absolutely adore you. You must still love being back here.
Of course, you know, obviously I've been at this club for a very, very long time, and you know, it never ceases to amaze me the reception I still get. You know, I thought everyone would have been sick and tired of me by now, but you know, it's still
Not a chance.
It's great to be outside the stadium and walk around and get to meet the fans, and you know, something I'll always love.
So, fans back inside the stadium today, you can feel the atmosphere, you can feel the energy. Just tell us a little bit about last season. How hard was it behind closed doors when we didn't have the fans roaring us on here?
Yeah, of course, it's not easy, you know, but as professionals, you know, we all have a job to do, but there's no doubt that the fans are the heartbeat of any football club, really, and not to have our fans, who are the best fans in the world, in this amazing stadium, the best stadium in the world, was really sad. But you know, as I say, hopefully we're over that time now, and we can get the fans back in as soon as possible.
Now, I know you're very split on this, because there's a part of you that absolutely loves not having to do pre-season, but at the same time, do you still get the niggle? Oh, I'd love to be out there.
Not really anymore. I mean, watching the lads now, you know, in the pace of the game, and you know, of course, for a second you still think you can do it, and then you quickly remember that you can't. So, you know, I've got no problem. You know, obviously my time's over now, and you know, I just look forward to watching these guys get out there and do their stuff.
100%. And just a couple of weeks to go. Lots of reasons to be excited for the start of the season, isn't there? It's going to be a really special day on the 15th of August here against Man City, the stadium full again. Just tell us how you're feeling about the start of the season. Yeah,
I can't wait. You know, really looking forward to the first game of the season against the champions, and you know, to have this place full and rocking again can really make a huge difference to the team. So can't wait.
Yeah, and a tough start for us as well. It's not the easiest game to begin with, but you can guarantee the atmosphere will be amazing.
That's one thing you can guarantee. You know, the fans will be here in their droves, and the atmosphere will be amazing as usual. So you know, the fans will get behind the boys, and the boys will give it their best shot. And you know, it's a tough start, but you know, you have to play everyone. So it could be a good time to catch Man City.
Yeah, and just tell us a tiny bit, because we've obviously been together for a couple of pre-season games. It's been lovely, isn't it, watching some of our young guys doing really well, and the team really gelling as well.
It is. You know, it's difficult when you have a major tournament and players coming back at different times, but you know, it's also a great opportunity to see some of the young players get an opportunity to show their stuff. And you know, it's great to have days like today where the fans come into the stadium and get to see how the players train, you know, and see how hard that they work every day. So you know, it really is good, and I'm sure they're really enjoying it.
Amazing. Look, Lenny, thank you so much for joining us at Pitchside, and thank you so much for being such a wonderful ambassador for us always. If you haven't already been down to the South Podium, there's loads going on over there. You can still go out and see it all going on. I went down a little bit earlier on today to check it out. Here on the South Podium, there's lots going on. I'm joined now by Donny from our Global Football Development Programme. Donny, just tell us what's going on behind us, mate.
So we've got the kids coming in and they're just practicing some little tricks and skills that we do through the academy and with the Global Football Development Programme. So they're having a go.
It's really nice, isn't it, that we're giving fans an opportunity to come down and not only come and see the team train, but also to come and get involved.
It's fantastic, brilliant. They've missed so much football that they've got a chance now to be back home, and they get to see the players train as well and have a kickabout.
Just tell us a tiny bit about the Global Football Development Programme, because there's stuff going on all over the world, isn't there? There's helping kids get into our philosophy and pathway as well.
That's it. All the themes that run from the academy filter down into the Global Football Development Programme. So around the world, college programmes, player development programmes. It's brilliant. Lots of kids have attending, so it's great.
Thank you so much, Donny. Look, this is going to be going on throughout the training session today. So if you're also in the stadium and you want to come out and have a look, do make sure you come out to the South Podium. So we are down here now with some of the fans. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by John and Anne. John, you were telling me earlier on, remind me, how many years have you been coming to Tottenham?
About 75, I think, 75. 75 years. Since I was 11, I was a Spurs supporter. And it's been great. We've had our ups and downs. You go the 50s, 60s, the double, naturally. But the other ones were, you know, you accepted they win one, they lose two, but now we've got to progress and win them all.
Oh, I'm right there, right there. Can we have a big round of applause, please? 75 years, it's amazing. Come on, let's hear it, guys. Big round of applause. And what about for you, Anne?
Oh, all my life, supported Spurs. Love it.
And just tell us how it feels to be back here at the stadium today, because we've been away for so long.
It's amazing. It's the best stadium in the world.
100%.
Love it. Yeah.
Oh, another round of applause for that. It is indeed, isn't it? 100% the best stadium in the world.
All my family, must admit, there's 3 interlopers, Liverpool. No, 2 interlope, Liverpool. But the rest of them are the Lily Whites, you know, the Spurs. Best team in the world when we're on form. But we've got to do it this year.
Just tell me how excited you are for the start of the season.
Well, my brother, he's a couple of years older than me. We lived about 10 miles from Tottenham, out in the sticks sort of thing. And he used to be a Gooner, an Arsenal supporter, you know. And my dad was a Spurs. And it seemed to click on from there. We didn't like Arsenal. And of course, when we got married and families, they were all educated to be Spurs supporters. But my son's wife, unfortunately, and his daughter, they're Liverpool. We've been working on it for years, but
Well, look, keep trying, and thank you for all of us for all of your amazing support over the years. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Brilliant, isn't it? Is this going to be a one-off, or...?
I don't think we could do it every day, but we'll try and arrange some more, I'm sure. Look, it's an absolute pleasure having you with us.
Well, it's nice to see you, Ben.
No, and thank you so much for your support. As I said earlier on, in the South Podium, there is some amazing stuff going on. It's not too late to go and check it out. I was there a little bit earlier on today. So nice, isn't it, to be able to come back and do this all over again, considering we've been away for so long?
Yes, it's great. It's super. I haven't been back since the lockdown and all of that, so it's my first time back here since then.
And great to share it with the little one as well.
Yes, of course.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's great, and it's good to be back to some kind of normality as well, and see Nuno and how he wants to set them up and see some training. Never seen that before, so it's going to be really good.
Awesome. And what have you made of Nuno's team so far?
I mean, they've looked strong in pre-season so far. I've looked at them. Dele looks good. Lucas looks good. I like the way they play. Skips look brilliant, and yeah, it all looks really good.
Is it your first time back since COVID?
Yes.
How's it feel to be back?
Amazing. It's a beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful.
And what's the atmosphere been like since you've got it?
Yeah, amazing. Everyone's got the same vibes. It's perfect. It's the best thing. I mean,
have you missed it?
Yeah. I mean, watching it on telly is something else, but being here is amazing.
I'm glad to be back in the stadium after such a long time. The kids have missed it. They've been sitting at home, not pulling their hair out. But yeah, they're looking forward to getting back. Hopefully, seeing Son and everyone train and see what Nuno's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, we want to see Galini in goal, don't we?
Yeah.
Dele Alli, see how he's looking. He's looking sharp and strong. So it's just nice to get out. Like you said, after COVID, it's just nice family to get out for the day, get everyone back in there.
Oh, it's fantastic. Awesome to be back. Really, really good.
Who are you looking forward to seeing today?
Son, Dele Alli. Yeah, all the players, really, yeah.
Stanley, just tell me, how exciting is it to be back here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Really exciting.
Who are you looking forward to seeing, mate?
Japhet Tanganga.
Tanganga, is he one of your favourite players?
Yeah.
Who else do you like watching?
Joe Bowden.